Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Gold Rush. Tony Beets gives Parker Schnabel what Kevin wants. In the Gold Rush Season 14, Episode 15 entitled Succession, Tony Beets gives Parker Schnabel exactly what Kevin Beets wants. That is not all. This week, one gold miner has machine issues, another finds a surprise, and the third takes a big gamble. Here is the latest news on the popular Discovery series. What happens in Gold Rush Season 14 episode Succession? Gold Rush Season 14, Episode 15 is called Succession. What happens in this episode? According to Rotten Tomatoes, the Beets family implodes trying to get the Paradise Hill trommel running. Parker starts sluicing Australia Creek and finds a big surprise. Rick makes an all-or-nothing decision to return to Raleigh Valley. There is a lot to unpack here. Firstly, the Beets family does not seem to get any closer to healing their wounds. Moreover, their dismal gold totals show a lack of respect and ability to work as a team. Can the Beets family stop fighting and start working together? Next, Parker Schnabel continues to work hard. But what is this big surprise? There is no indication of whether this is a good or bad discovery. Lastly, Rick Ness has moved on from the bacon cut. Now has returned to Raleigh Valley. Can they find a way to squeeze more gold each week? Team Raleigh has not made their goals. If he doesn't make it happen at Raleigh Valley, Rick may be done. Tony Beets gives Parker Schnabel what Kevin Beets wants. In addition to the Gold Rush synopsis, even more is happening this week on the Discovery show. According to the Twitter preview, Parker Schnabel gives Tony Beets a tour of his big purchase. Therefore, Parker shows Tony the Dominion Creek property and all of the machinery that he is going to have up for sale. Instead of buying anything, Tony gives Parker praise. He is proud of what Parker has accomplished. In return, Parker thanks Tony. Without Tony taking a gamble on him, he would not be where he is now. Tony's reply was genuine. He revealed that he knew what a good worker Parker was. Subsequently, he was happy to work with someone who put all of his efforts into making his gold mining business a success. Tony points out that Parker's desire is not something you can't get at school. Granted, Parker was taught by the best, John Schnabel. However, Tony's hard lessons are what made him a great success. In contrast, Kevin Beets wants credit. Moreover, he wants praise. But Tony Beets did not say anything of the kind. He seemed to take off the beginning of Gold Rush Season 14 with the excuse of gardening. Instead, he seemed to want to give his folks a lesson that he was indispensable. Last week, he returned but was not satisfied. Tony and Kevin are not communicating. Instead, he saved his praise for Parker Schnabel. The Alaskan sun hung low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the sprawling landscape of the Klondike. Parker Schnabel, the young prodigy of gold mining, stood on a ridge overlooking his latest claim. The machines roared below him, churning through tons of dirt in search of those elusive gold nuggets. His thoughts, however, were not solely on the riches beneath his feet, but on the enigmatic figure he saw approaching, Tony Beets. Tony Beets, the grizzled veteran of the gold mining world, was a man of few words and formidable presence. Known as the King of the Klondike, Tony had earned his reputation through sheer grit and an uncanny ability to strike gold where others had failed. Today, as he made his way towards Parker, there was an air of mystery about him. Parker had been facing a series of setbacks, equipment failures, harsh weather, and dwindling returns from his claim had left him frustrated. He needed a breakthrough, and he hoped Tony had some advice or, better yet, a solution. But Tony was not one to offer easy answers. He preferred to make his proteges work for their rewards, believing that the lessons learned in struggle were the most valuable. As Tony reached Parker, he gave a curt nod. "Parker," he said in his gravelly voice, "got something for you." Parker's eyes widened with curiosity. Tony wasn't known for giving gifts, especially not without a reason. "What is it?" he asked, trying to keep his excitement in check. Tony reached into his weather jacket and pulled out a rolled-up piece of parchment. He handed it to Parker, who unrolled it with trembling hands. It was a map, old and yellow with age, detailing an area Parker had never seen before. The markings were clear, and the notation at the bottom read, "Old Tim's Last Stand." "What's this?" Parker asked, his voice tinged with awe. "That," Tony said, "is a map to a claim my crew stumbled upon years ago. Old Tim was a legend around here, claimed he found the richest vein in the Klondike, but he disappeared before he could prove it. This map was all we found of him." Parker looked at Tony, stunned. "Why are you giving this to me?" Tony's eyes twinkled with a rare glimmer of fondness. "Because, kid, I see a lot of potential in you. You've got the drive, the smarts, and the guts. This claim could change everything for you. But don't think it's a handout. You'll have to work harder than ever to get to it." As Parker studied the map, his mind raced with possibilities. This could be the big break he needed. He thanked Tony, who simply nodded and turned to leave. As he walked away, Parker couldn't help but feel a surge of gratitude. Tony had given him more than a map. He had given him hope. Meanwhile, across the claim, Kevin Beets, Tony's son, watched the exchange with a mixture of envy and curiosity. He had always felt the pressure of living up to his father's legacy. Seeing Tony give Parker such a valuable lead stirred a sense of longing in him. Kevin had been working tirelessly under Tony's stern guidance, but he yearned for a chance to prove himself independently. Later that evening, as the miners gathered around a bonfire, Kevin approached his father. The crackling flames cast dancing shadows on their faces. "Dad," Kevin began, hesitating slightly, "why did you give Parker that map?" Tony looked at his son, reading the emotions behind his question. "Kevin," he said, "you have all the tools you need to succeed. You've learned from the best, and you've got the Beets blood in you." Parker needed a push, something to challenge him. "You've already got that fire inside you. Now, you just need to find your own path." Kevin nodded, understanding his father's words but still feeling the weight of expectation. He resolved to carve out his own legacy, not by following in his father's footsteps, but by forging his own trail. The next morning, Parker set out with his crew, map in hand. The journey to Old Tim's claim was treacherous, filled with dense forests, rocky terrain, and icy rivers. But Parker's determination never wavered. Days turned into weeks as they battled the elements, inching closer to their destination. Finally, they reached the spot marked on the map. It was a secluded valley, untouched by modern machinery. The ground was rich and promising. Parker's heart pounded with anticipation as they set up their equipment. The first few days yielded little, but Parker's faith never faltered. He knew that true rewards required perseverance. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, one of Parker's crew members shouted, "We struck gold." The excitement was palpable as they unearthed the first gleaming nuggets. It wasn't long before they realized the extent of their find. Old Tim's legend was true. The vein was rich beyond their wildest dreams. Back at Tony's camp, the news of Parker's success spread like wildfire. Tony couldn't help but smile. He had known that the boy had it in him. But he also knew that this was just the beginning. Parker would face new challenges, new rivals, and new tests of character. But with each obstacle, he would grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Kevin, too, found inspiration in Parker's journey. He began to explore new areas, driven by the desire to discover his own fortune. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he welcomed the challenge. After all, he was a Beets, and Beets never backed down from a fight. In the heart of the Klondike, under the vast Alaskan sky, The legacy of gold mining continued. Parker Schnabel and Kevin Beets, fueled by ambition and guided by the wisdom of Tony Beets, forged their paths in the unforgiving wilderness. And as the golden dust settled, they knew that the true treasure lay not just in the gold they unearthed, but in the journey, the struggle, and the unwavering pursuit of their dreams.